space, known as the unreachable, the almost impossible, the future. But what if you could go to space? What if you could have a career in space? What if you could live in space? Space is now, more than ever, accessible. But what does a life in space look like? It's the old saying, if you can dream it, you can do it, even in space.
Whether you're working in space, whether you're working in aerospace, every job here is going to be needed in space.
Fayette County Public Schools Office of Instructional Technology is partnering with Club for the Future, founded by Blue Origin, to inspire future generations to pursue careers in STEM, as well as imagine the future with a life in space.
We really want students all over the world to recognize that STEM is an important component into the future jobs.
The first step is to get them excited and connected and thinking about careers and futures that may be connected to space and space travel. I think 5 years from now, 10 years from now, the careers in that realm are going to be so different and so plentiful that we can't even imagine them now.
Make your way to the hatch.
Club for the Future and Fayette County Public School students will partner to access space through space-focused curriculum and by launching postcards by way of Blue Origin's New Shepard flight experience.
Blue Origin was founded by Jeff Bezos with the vision for enabling a future where millions of people are living and working in space for the benefit of Earth. Club for the Future has many programs. One of them that we're really proud about is our postcard to space. Students can write in a postcard or draw their vision of the future. It's really up to them. We want them to just tell us what inspires them about the future living and working in space.
I'm interested in space medicine and space exploration, so I have a futuristic city.
We think that postcard, when you get it back especially, it checks three main boxes. One is you get to see an object that's been to space. It's physical. You get to actually touch it. Being able to feel something that's actually left our atmosphere and came back, we hope that inspires them and changes the fundamental thinking of accessibility, right? That you can actually access something yourself that's been to space. But most importantly, students get to make something themselves and send it to space. So they get to check all three of those boxes. They get to see that object that's been to space, they get to feel it, and they get to really make something themselves. So that physical connection is something they get to keep for their entire lives. We hope is that little bit of inspiration so they can, take the next step and do something bigger and greater than just making something for space.
Back in February 2022, the partnership with Fayette County Public Schools kicked off with Off Bluegrass at FCPS's STEAM Academy, a school known for its authentic STEM inquiry learning.
Off Bluegrass was started when we first learned about Club for the Future when we were traveling to meet up with a group in Jacksonville, Florida. There's an organization there called STEM 2 Hub, and they promote STEM education throughout Northeast Florida. They had an existing partnership with Club to the Future known as Dream Big Florida. And the purpose of that partnership is to encourage students and adults to create postcards that are then sent to space on a Blue Origin flight on one of the New Shepard rockets. So after making those introductions back in September when we came back to Kentucky, we were able to connect with them and started planning in November of 2021 creating a Kentucky version of the Dream Big Florida project, which is known as Off Bluegrass.
The Office of Instructional Technology in Fayette County does a great job of trying to incorporate all kinds of different things within our schools, STEM related, STEAM related, and so we partnered with them to facilitate having everybody kick off the event at our school. So to get our students invested in this and engaged, we started off doing this in a couple of our science classes. We did an entry event with them and tied it into our project-based learning, and so we had them watch some of the clips from when William Shatner went up with New Shepard, and we looked at what Blue Origin was and Club for the Future and just showed them some different things and kind of let them see that, hey, you're going to be able to send some things up to space.
After learning about the students' strong interest in astronomy and wanting to foster it, the Office of Instructional Technology reached out to Rosen's students with an opportunity for the class to join in on the mission to reach space.
Our students in Kentucky don't think about how they can be connected to that kind of work. And there are so many different ways that students can be part of future space travel. It's not just about being an astronaut. Every job and every career path imaginable will also apply to future space travel as we look at, putting humans into space and building communities in space. That's the part of our kids' future. So it was really important to me to create this partnership with Club to the Future and Blue Origin and bring that excitement to Kentucky, to our kids, because I want them to be as much a part of that future as kids from Florida or Alabama or anywhere else.
The event brought students and staff from all over the district, both in person and virtually, to participate in creatively creating messages for the postcards and live interviews with former astronaut Michael Good.
I'd like to share with you guys for a couple minutes my trips to the Hubble Space Telescope in May of 2009, and then to the International Space Station in 2010.
I think the biggest importance for this program is making sure that all kids have access to something that they might not normally have. So, for example, having access to space. That's not something that most Kentucky children will have the opportunity to experience unless they seek it out outside of here. And I think bringing something back from space that kids created, I think is so powerful, and it will really help ignite that curiosity in STEM and in science and in physics and all the other areas where they could potentially find a career pathway. And if this is just that catalyst to getting kids interested, then I feel like we've done our job.
Selected students were able to ask questions and inquire about space and the experiences in space.
Hey Team Blue, do you guys shower in space, and how do you shower in space?
More of what we call a sponge bath. So you can have maybe a washcloth, and we have a little hose.
Over 100 teachers from across Fayette County Public Schools participated by requesting blank postcards for their classes. Some even created their own postcards.
They basically let us dream it up to be what we want it to be. They didn't stop us and say, we don't want you to do that. They said, you do what you want to do, and we're going to support you. And that was why it was so cool that they provided the astronaut for us to hear from, and they just let us do what we wanted to, within the parameters of their sending the postcard up for us, but it was super easy to make it work.
The idea of this event was one thing, but making it happen and seeing the fruit of it brought a lot of excitement around the possibility of space and what is now possible.
We don't often talk about space because for us, space seems so far away. But in reality, space is the same here as it is anywhere else in the world. It's pretty much the same distance from where we are to space, and we don't talk about it enough. So getting kids to really think about the ability to take their dreams and make them as big as they want to make them, that's what every kid should be able to do. They should be able to dream as big as they want to and make those postcards and send them into space. That way you can't say that the sky's the limit anymore, because now we've gone beyond the sky and we're into space.
The kids in Fayette County are so creative, and the prompt that we came up with for this postcard was, if you could build a community in space, what would it be? Because that is a reality for our future, and if they aren't, then their children will have seen somebody living on Mars. And so seeing that big idea actually on paper was amazing, and kids were just so creative in the things that they wanted to make sure that their community had. And then if they didn't do the prompt, then they were coming up with inspirational quotes and drawings and paintings of what they think space would look like.
Blue Origin has a mission to send 1 million postcards to space. Fayette County Public Schools is proud to say that we are helping make that mission possible.
The postcard program in itself is really meant to have students realize how accessible space is and how space is becoming more and more accessible. By that I mean reusability, it's creating sustainability, and it's democratizing that access. It's allowing you to put something in space where once was incredibly expensive, incredibly competitive, and allowing you to do it at the cost of a postage stamp or just working with your school to do it for, completely free. That didn't exist a few years ago.
Overall, the district submitted approximately 8,500 postcards for traveling to space.
It's been a great process working with Club for the Future. They were very excited about bringing this program to Kentucky. We've launched it in Fayette County to begin with, but we are also going to help launch that as a statewide initiative. And so they were really blown away with just the numbers of classrooms and teachers that we had involved in our single district for this initial kickoff. And they've been very supportive of us moving forward and are interested in this being a long-term relationship. So this is not a one and done kind of event. It's not a one-time thing. This will be an ongoing opportunity for our classes to send multiple. Students can send multiple postcards over time if they want to. So we really hope this is something that we can use to build excitement, but also build off of with other lessons and opportunities for our kids that are related to space to keep them thinking about their future opportunities.
So with this mission of the event and the initiative accomplished and the postcards created, now what?
With the vision of millions of people living and working in space, we're going to need employees, students, architects, engineers from all over the world. We're not going to just have one city be able to populate millions of people living and working in space. It's going to take everyone working together. So we're going to need students from all over, all geographical locations to apply themselves in STEM careers and non-traditional STEM careers to help us, reach this vision.
The possibilities here to start seeding this excitement and this knowledge and getting our kids thinking about how they can be space lawyers or scientists or engineers or building communities, thinking about the social emotional welfare of people when they're living in space. Just all of those things and opportunities, I think, for our students are huge, and I think we'll see the benefits of that for years to come.
I would really like to see this collaboration branch out to where not only are we just sending a postcard up, but that we're collaborating not only with the Office of Instructional Technology, but even Blue Origin, and trying to bring curriculum into our classrooms to allow students to see that there's a real world experience out there.
I think it has done its job. I think that students' interest has been piqued. I think once they get it back with the stamp on it, it's going to be that much stronger. And one of my hopes is that this will be an ongoing program, so students could have something from their kindergarten year, they could have something from their second grade year, they could have something all the way up through their high school year and kind of see that evolution of how their dreaming and their thinking has changed.
Normally you just see them in a museum, and it's nothing that you can really touch because it's normally behind a glass, or it's some big rock that they have that you're only allowed to touch it for a brief second. But this is something that you can physically hold, that you can take home and put it on your wall or put it on your refrigerator and be proud of what you were able to do.
With dreams of a world for the future in the hands of those who have created possibility, these students and their leaders now look forward to a space where life can happen, a space where dreams can come true, a space that is now more than ever reachable.